make it difficult to subject a particular to identify a particular subject as to who the issue is referring to.
Pardon me. You said a dangling modifier does what?
So a dangling modifier doesn't have attributed subject or subject that is, it has a subject that is missing there.
Okay.
You can't really attribute the thing to who actually is being referred to.
And what about the misplaced modifiers?
The position of the misplaced modifier can change the meaning of the sentence.
So when you say a modifier is misplaced, what does it mean?
Wrongly put.
Okay. Today we started a new topic. I mentioned earlier. We started a new topic titled communication. Communication. So let's look at this. What is communication? As far as you know. Hello.
No.
Yes.
Communication is the interaction between two or more people.
Okay. Interaction between two or more people. Should it be the case that communication can only take place among people?
It can also be between humans and animals.
Okay. Yes. Somebody has spoken, says that
communication, it is also, we can also say, is the exchange of information or ideas between a sender and a receiver.
okay. A sender and a receiver. Okay. I was asking the first question about whether it should take place among humans or people, because I was thinking that if you are driving and you are at a traffic light, there is communication there. You don't see any human being there anyway. What you see there is not a human being. There is communication. So that communication is not only between and among human beings. Yeah, somebody says communication is between exchange of information between sender and receiver. Okay, those are technical terms. Sender, receiver. Yes, any idea about the explanation or definition of communication? No response. You don't mind me? Hello.
Hi,
Doc.
Doctor.
Yeah,
We are here.
So I'm asking the question. No, I'm asking, what other definitions do you have for communication? Okay, so exchange of information between a sender and a receiver. Good. Let me ask you these questions before you continue. Let's say you happen to be at UHAS, or maybe where you are working now, the facility at which you are working now. Then you see a woman, you like a woman, you say, I want to marry you. So you post, you send a message to the woman, making a proposal. And you send it by WhatsApp, so you could know that the message was read. But for about 6 months now, the woman has not responded. Was there communication?
No.
No, there was no communication.
There was no communication.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yes.
You think so? What about
No,
if you
Communication always.
we know so.
what about if you tell somebody face to face that I like you, I want to marry you? The person has heard it, the person has seen your face. In fact, the person there is every certainty that the message was sent and the message was received, but the person has not responded up to now. Was there communication?
Yes, there was communication.
Why is it that in the first place you said no? And
There
then
was no communication because there is no feedback. The
There was
receiver
communication.
doesn't respond.
okay, very good.
There was communication because, dog,
Yeah.
there are instances when you are talking to a person, the person's facial expressions and eye contact, and even the posture will tell you that the message has been sent and you've received a feedback. Because when you propose to me and the way I'll do my face, it will tell you if I will accept or I'll not accept. So there's communication.
Okay,
Sir, I have a different view.
that is
I think there's no communication because the person has not given you a response in the form of a feedback.
okay.
So you have sent an information to the person. The person needs to also respond or give you a feedback. Then you can say communication has taken place.
Do you think that feedback is integral? Feedback must be there to make to establish that there's communication.
Yes, please.
What about
Feedback is an integral.
what about maybe you're at home, your mother sent you to go and tell your younger brother that they should come and eat because food is ready. Maybe your elder brother who doesn't want to come home. You went and told your elder brother that our mother says food is ready, come and eat. Then you went home, the person hasn't come. Does it mean that you didn't give your information to the person?
So you've given the information, but it is not complete. The process is not complete.
Okay. It's all right. I know what you want to say. Now, I want you to know something before you continue. That sending a message to somebody, whether it is written or oral or whatever, not responding itself is also a response. What do you think?
Yes, I agree with you, sir. Yes, sir, it's a response.
Okay, very good. So, without wasting time, I want us to do some reading, which will speed up our work. We will try to speed up things so that we can even we have a small quiz, not a quiz per se. We may have sample questions that I want us to look at, so that it will not appear like you are not, it will not appear like you are ignorant of the kind of questions that you're going to see. So, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I want to open a document. That is why maybe you cannot see anything now. But communication is the exchange of information or a message from a sender to a receiver. Both are acceptable. What is happening? I wanted to show you something. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Doc.
We'll read this, but I will send you the PDF file. I'll send you the PDF version of this, maybe by the close of the lesson. So I want one of you to start reading for us. Read from here, starting with communication. Can you hear me? I'm asking anybody to read for us. Anybody who can see the screen.
Communication is a transfer of information or meaning from a sender to a receiver. It is a process that involves several components known as the elements of communication. What do you think are the elements involved in communication? As a process, communication begins with the person who has information or message. This person relates the information through a medium or a channel, and the information gets to the receiver. When the receiver gets the information, he or she is expected to give feedback. With this explanation, we can get the elements of communication. elements of communication.
Yeah, so what
The
are the elements of
elements
what are the elements of communication? Components of communication. Yes. What are they? Which are they?
The elements are the sender, the channel or medium, the receiver, and the feedback.
Okay. There is one.
Also the message.
Okay, message. There's another element called noise. Noise is also an important part of communication. Noise in this case doesn't mean physical noise, as in somebody is making noise and you cannot hear what you cannot hear what you are communicating or somebody is telling you. Noise in this case is broad, is very broad, and it has to do with hindrances to communication generally. So when you go home, go and research the topic of noise. Make a research on the topic of noise as a component of element of communication. Now, so the sender, what is the role of the sender in the communication process? Hello.
Give information.
Pardon?
To give the information.
Okay, to give the information, yes.
The one passing on the information to a different.
Okay.
Like the one.
The one passing on the information. Okay. Yes, any other idea? The one who passes on the information.
Or the deliverer. The deliverer.
The deliverer. Okay. Yes. We have in the class now around.
The person that sends the information.
That's what.
Sender.
Yes. What is the role of the sender in the communication?
The one who initiates the communication.
Okay, yes. Is the one who start a conversation or initiate a conversation. If he has not spoken or he didn't say anything, then there cannot be any conversation or there cannot be any communication. Good. Now, let's look at it. If we have a sender, then we can have a receiver. Now, what are the other terms or other names for the sender?
Source.
Messenger.
Messenger. If it is messenger.
Or source. The source.
Okay, if you say source, then what is the corresponding name for the receiver? If we have sender and receiver, now that we have source, what will be the corresponding name for the receiver? Hello.
The recipient.
Okay, it's an attempt. Source, what will be the corresponding name? Recipient, not exactly. Pardon?
User.
The end user.
End user. Okay. Okay. If you have source, you can have destination. You have destination. Yes, any other name for the sender?
Yeah, the encoder or the one encoding the message.
Okay, if it's encoder, who is the corresponding name for the receiver?
Decoder.
The decoder.
Yes,
Consume.
any other name for the sender?
Originator.
Originator of what? Yes, any other name for the sender?
And the writer. Or
Writer.
speaker.
Okay, we can have speaker. No, because sending the message can be in a form of writing or speaking or maybe any other form apart from speaking and writing. So assuming the person is speaking, then we can have audience or listener. There's another term, addresser. Addresser. We want to address the students. She wants to address the student, addresser. Whether it is so what do you mean the corresponding term for addressor?
Audience.
Addressee.
Yeah,
Receive.
addressee. Okay. So remember this. Speaker, you can have audience or listener. And then addresser, addressee. Then what again? Source, destination, and all that. Okay. Let's continue. Read on, please.
Elements of communication. The elements of communication are sender, encoder, initiator, and the source. Information, message, and the content. The medium, into brackets, channel. The receiver, decoder, destination. Feedback, into brackets, the response. Sender. The sender is the person who has information and is ready to transmit this information to a receiver. The information or message is the thought, knowledge, idea, or feeling that the sender transmits. In the classroom, we can say the teacher or the instructor is the sender. He or she is the person who has information to share. Between you and your friend or colleague, you may be the sender if you have a piece of information you want to pass on to your friend or colleague. Information. Information or message refers to the idea.
Hello. If you are a sender and you want to send a message to somebody, whether it is written or oral or whatever form, what are some of the factors you consider before we send a message to the receiver? What factors will guide you? What are some of the things that will guide you?
That you can look at the proximity of the receiver.
Explain.
You can look at how close the person is. So if you want to send message to someone who is close to you, you can directly communicate it. But if the person is not close to you, you can use a channel like WhatsApp or an intermediary, which is somebody to go and relay the information.
Okay, it says proximity. Yes, what
You need
factors
to understand the person's ability to understand.
explain?
Understanding ability.
Understand like how? It's because the person will
So
understand.
when you are sending a message, you are thinking about whether the person will understand exactly what is that you are using. So you take into cognition the fact that the message, either the words, the wording should tone down, should be possibly put it in a way that the person can comprehend.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Assuming that you want to tell somebody you love him or her, so you've drawn the shape of a heart on a plain sheet of paper, and then you give it to the person, and the person has intentionally decided not to understand you, so she says, "Oh, what a beautiful drawing." Was there communication?
No, please.
Interpreted wrongly.
No, but was there communication in the first place?
There was communication.
Yes,
It's just
there
feedback.
was a communication. There was communication, but the person couldn't decode the message you are sending across.
Okay. Yo, let's continue. So you said you must check whether the person will understand the message. Well, this can also be linked to many factors like age, whether the content that you're sending to the person, let's say somebody is 2 years old or 5 years old, and you are going to say something that an adult will understand. The question is whether that 2-year-old or 5-year-old can also understand the same thing. Yes, what factors do you consider?
So we can also consider the language.
Explain.
So you want to communicate to somebody, you need to know the person understand the language you are communicating through. If it is an Ewe language, the person must understand Ewe before you can communicate through the Ewe.
That's true. Language is a very important element in a communication process. If you do not share the same language with the person you are communicating with, then there's going to be a problem. Maybe you may need to begin to use an interpreter or all that and all that. So you must share the same code. In other words, you must share the same language that will form the basis for the communication. Yes, what else will you consider?
You consider the audience as well.
What about the audience? What about the
Uh,
audience?
whether it's a formal setting or you are talking to a close friend or something, or maybe it's an official meeting or something.
It's not the audience. What about the audience? Say, so maybe you're talking
At
about
least,
formality, whether it's
yes,
a formal occasion or informal
or
occasion.
maybe amongst friends. Yes, please.
Okay,
The status of the people.
okay, status. Okay, social status is also important. Can you explain that point? How is
So
social?
with regards to the status, the way we communicate to our wife or our children, there is a difference, similar to the way we communicate to our lecturer. Vis-a-vis communicating to our kings or our directors in the other office. So depending on the status of the person, it affects the way you communicate or structure your communication.
Can culture affect the way you send a message to somebody?
Yes, Doc, it can. Because there are some things you say, me being an Ewe, I'll use myself. There are things I will say in my Ewe Vedome that if I go and say it in Anglo, it's an insult to them. So culture also plays a vital role.
Okay.
We can also look at the usefulness of the message to the receiver.
It is because the message will be useful, that's why I'm sending it to the person. What do you think? It's because the message will be useful, that's why I'm sending it to the person. Okay, consider religion. Can religion affect the way we send a message to somebody? Or the way we speak to somebody or send a message? Religion.
Yes.
Explain it. Oh, you say yes, and I say explain. You know that in some among some religious people, you cannot talk to some religions. You cannot, like maybe the Muslims. You can't talk to. It's just some typical, like some in some countries where they practice Islamic religion to the core. You cannot talk to some women at some time. As a man talking to a woman under some circumstances is not permitted. So if you want to pass on information or you want to do some health education or something, there are rules that you have to, there are restrictions, so to speak. Okay, so let's continue.
Intention.
Information. Information or message refers to the idea or knowledge that is transmitted. What you have on your mind.
Yeah.
So I did not hear the venue where the information is given.
Venue.
The venue is also important in giving communication.
You got to explain venue in what way. If you want to send a message to somebody, do you consider venue or for what? You are not meeting. Maybe you want to write to the person, or you want to call the person on phone, or maybe you want to send a message by someone going to deliver it. How does the venue come in? The question I'm asking is,
okay.
You want to send a message to somebody. You want a message to reach a particular person. If the message is to go, what are some of the things I will consider? So maybe I can say, I'm sending a message to the Vice Chancellor of UHAS. So I must be very careful about my language, the choice of language. It must be formal. I cannot even just call. I want to write it. And if I'm going to write it, it should be formal, official language, and it should be polite. I cannot say, how are you? How are you? I hope you are fine. No. If I want to send a message to somebody mentioned proximity. I'm in home, and I want my parents to send me food for say I'm in school. The question is, if you are going to write a letter to them when they are in the northern part of the country, so you're going to write or you're going to call. When you write, the time the message you reach there and the time you read it and send the thing to you, probably the semester would have ended. And so maybe under that circumstances, the best thing maybe is if you can have a telephone call that is direct within seconds, they can reach, you can reach them. Whatever request you are making could be heard. If it is social status, if you are going to talk to somebody like a king or a chief in your local area, some of the things that you tell you can, some of the way you speak with a colleague in class is different from talking to somebody who is a chief or paramount chief or maybe an MP. So those are some of the things I think.
Okay, understand.
Shall we thank you too. Yeah. Shall we continue?
It also refers to what we get from the environment. Let us note that there are two main ways that we get information for our academic work. What are these two ways?
Wait. If you happen to be in a typical academic environment, like a university campus, you happen to be in the university campus, you go for lectures and come back, what are the two main ways by which you receive information? By what means does information get to
No,
your head? By what means or method by which method does information get into your head? Because you every day you are receiving information. Things are day 1, day 2, day 3. Yeah. So what skill? By what way do you receive information? That is it.
No, through face-to-face lectures.
Face-to-face lectures. So at the face-to-face lectures, how do you receive information? I know you get information by listening. You understand? Face-to-face lectures. Even if it is not face-to-face, like what you are doing now, you get information by listening. Yes, what that means? What that means?
By reading.
Yeah, by reading. You can also read, then you get information. You go to library, you read. Oh, is this true? Is this true? Oh, you are making note. This is new information. So you are adding information to whatever you have previously. So every day you are accumulating knowledge by reading. Yes, apart from these two, what other method can you receive by which you can receive information?
Sir, by seeing.
Okay, seeing, because that is observation. That is very important. Okay, let's read on.
Okay. Apart from these two ways, we also get information through observation and analyzing of the things we see or watch. When it comes to learning certain skills, we observe how the skill is exhibited in order for us to also perform that skill. Also, we observe things in our environment to arrive at certain conclusions. Can you give examples of things that we observe and the conclusions we can draw from them?
Yeah, so let's say there are cases you see some things that you can predict that this and this will happen. So, and sometimes it does happen. So, what are some of the observations that you make and you often make, and there are conclusions or outcomes? There are things we see. When you see this, you know this will going to happen.
The weather pattern.
You got to explain.
So when you see the weather, sometimes at where I live, once it becomes cloudy and it starts shining, it means that it's likely to rain.
Okay, that's a good example. Yes, can we give
facial expression.
social?
Facial expression.
Yes, what observation have you made?
Whether the person is frowning or smiling when you are giving out the information.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I'm saying is this. This is like you see something, and then when you observe this, you can conclude that this will happen. So it has become like a pattern. It is always the case that when I see this, it's likely that this will happen, and it does happen. So somebody is giving an example of rainfall. I'm talking about communication. Things that you see, the things that communicate something to you. So as a human being, you see clouds gathered, and I say at each time clouds gather, it is likely that it will rain, and most of the time it will rain. So the clouds are communicating to you that something is going to happen. So take action. So if you have some clothes on a line, you spread some clothes on a dry line, you probably must go and begin to remove them. So I'm saying that what are some of the things that we see in our everyday kind of interaction and our environment, which will communicate to you that this is going to happen, and it does happen? It's difficult, you see. Let's continue. As we go along, we can remember these things we discussed.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Let's say it's going to rain.
Mm.
You can see that the clouds is dark. It will give you a sign that it's going to rain.
Mm.
Tana.
Yeah, somebody said it already.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
maybe I was going to say that maybe if you're working in a hospital, when you see somebody who is lean, maybe the conclusion is that the person is going to die. But most of the time, some people could be lean, they don't die. Do you know that?
Yes.
Mm.
There are some cases too when you have a stage 4 cancer, you know that once you have been assigned a palliative care, it is automatically that you're on the way to death.
Okay. Maybe you see somebody who is a woman with a big belly. Does it mean that the person is pregnant?
No.
Yeah, some people too, it's not pregnancy. So you cannot say, I know this person is going to have a child in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. Maybe it's not pregnancy. Sometimes, so our observation, sometimes it will work. Like I observe this, and this could be the outcome. It will work the way you think. Sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, shall we continue?
Medium or channel. The medium or channel of communication refers to the means by which we pass on the information that we have. If you conceive an idea to be passed on to your lecturer or tutor, there are various means available through which you can pass on that idea. These various means constitute the medium of communication. Now, let us mention some of the means by which you can convey your ideas to your lecturer or tutor. You may place a phone call, send a text message, or go to the lecturer in his or her office, write to the lecturer, or tell him or her in class when you meet him or her. In the digital era, there are other means by which students and lecturers communicate and share academic content. Some of these include learning management systems, LMS, like Moodle, vClass, and Sakai, Google Meet, Zoom meetings, WhatsApp. Which of this is the most appropriate medium to use? You will begin to realize that your choice of a particular medium will depend on a number of factors.
Okay. Medium. Let's talk about medium. What is the plural form of medium?
Media.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Media.
broadly, we can talk about. Let's talk about electronic means of medium. Electronic medium. Which are they?
You have the email system.
Mm-hmm.
You have the WhatsApp. You have Telegram.
Is it the only person who can mention this in the class? We talk about electronic means by which we send a message. Which are they? There are many of those things.
Text message.
Yes, text message.
Telegram.
Zoom.
Telegram, yes.
Email.
Yeah, email. Okay, so let's talk about non-electronic means. Non-electronic means could include things like what?
So it could be audio-visual, like information centers.
Okay.
Or public address system.
Okay.
Cell. Letters.
Writing.
Yeah, writing too. Then using billboards and posters. They are all forms of non-electronic means. Okay, let's continue.
The receiver. The receiver is the person who gets the information that has been sent. Note that as a teacher trainees or instructors in the classroom situation, our learners are the receivers of the information we deliver. In addition, we interact with our superiors and our colleagues. For this reason, we have to be mindful of who our receivers are. There is therefore the need for us as instructors to consider a few factors about the receiver. We need to consider the receiver's 1. Age. Is the receiver a child, an adolescent, or an adult? Rank / occupational role. Is the receiver your superior, a colleague, or a subordinate? Level of education. Is the receiver literate or illiterate? What is the receiver's level of illiteracy? Social status. Is the receiver a chief or somebody highly respected in the community? In communicating with people, we need to consider all these things because these factors help us to decide truth.
Okay.
What message or information to deliver and how. Feedback or response. Feedback or response is the behavior that a receiver very important in the communication process because it serves as the means of evaluating the communication process to determine how does feedback serve as a means of evaluation. Through feedback, we get to know whether the information has and the feedback that we receive from our learners after we have given exercise or tasks to perform help us to determine whether our lessons have been understood or not. Then, when we realize our lessons have not been understood based on the feedback that we get from our learners, we begin to revise our method of delivery. Silence is a form of feedback. Can you give examples of feedback? Can you give examples of silence as a form of feedback in the classroom situation? Can we repeat the elements involved in the process of communication in graphic organizer below?
Okay, so in what ways can silence constitute feedback? I asked a few questions at the beginning. There are cases where you send a message and there is silence. You don't receive any oral or written feedback. But then that silence can also be interpreted as feedback. So what are some of the situations in which we can experience these things?
Doc, when a lecturer finish lecturing and then he asks whether there's a question, whether we have a question and no one answers.
What does it mean?
That means if nobody answers, that means we don't have any question to ask. So it's a form of feedback we are giving to the lecturer.
Well, so you, the lecturer, how do you understand that?
I mean, everything is understood.
That means everything is understood.
What about if it is the case that nothing is understood? Okay, understand. And the silence itself is ambiguous. Silence itself is kind of indirect way of communicating to the extent that sometimes you cannot interpret it exactly. Let's say that the kids I gave at the beginning of the lecture that you want to you want to tell somebody you love the person and the person has not responded. How do you interpret the silence? You may say, okay, it means the person doesn't like me. You may say, okay, it means the person is thinking about it. Or you may have, but so sometimes it's not specific. Now, let me ask you, those who work in the hospitals, if you treat a patient and the person goes away, how do you know the person has recovered? In other words, how are you sure that your client was satisfied? Or how do you know your client got what he or she wanted?
Well, at the hospital, especially, the clients usually present with some conditions. So once the client is weak and has presented himself or herself and has been treated and the weakness is gone, you can use that with clinical notes to determine that the person is fine. And that's why they discharge the client based on the clinical observations. However, there's a feedback system that is allowed that the client provide about his or her satisfaction about the caregiving.
Okay, what about if the person is treated and the person thinks, I went to hospital A, in fact, the way they treated me, I don't like, I'm going to B. And so he doesn't want to go back to A, but has gone to B. How will you, the medical officer, know whether the person was well treated and was satisfied with your how do you call it? Your operation, or
Okay.
how, yeah, okay, how the person know? Sometimes it's not easy to tell. It's all right.
Yeah, that's like there's a gap there.
Okay.
But some facilities try to institute the feedback system and also try to conduct what we call the client experience survey.
Okay.
And so the client experience survey, that gives them an informed decision, but it may not particularly pertain to that particular client. However, it gives you a general overview about the service that you provide and how the people feel about the service you provide.
Okay, very good. Now, silence, like if you can remember when you were young, or even now, especially if you when you're a younger person, you did something that your father or your mother does not approve of. They can just look at you like they gaze, you know, they gaze at you. Have you experienced that kind of thing before?
Yes, Doc.
Or maybe that you were running away from your house, maybe it was a party that you wanted to attend, and then you wanted to sneak out, and then you wanted to sneak out, and then your father saw you tiptoeing. You know what is meant by tiptoeing? You know what is meant by tiptoe.
Yes, Doc.
Yes, Doc.
So you were tiptoeing, and your father saw you. They didn't see anything. What do you do? And your father not saying anything. How do you interpret it?
Doc, I'll say maybe my father didn't see me.
No, the person saw you. Your eyes met. The person you thought the person would say something. He didn't say anything, but he saw you. And Judge didn't want to say anything. How
Then
we
you say, oh, your father is doing gentle parenting, because if it's African parents, like they'll knock your head or something.
No,
know.
it's not like that, oh.
Sometimes
That thing
too,
is,
they say silence means consent. So your father being silenced means he doesn't want you to go. So you should go back.
Especially if the person sees your face, your eyes met, and then if your eyes met, the way the person will stare at you, and you can read from the eyes whether the person has approved of it or not. In the first place, when you were tiptoeing, what does it imply? Are you sure the person will be happy for you to go? That's why you were tiptoeing. Or does it also mean that you knew that it was against the rule for you to go out?
Yes, doc. For you to tiptoe outside means where you are going is not approved, or you are not supposed to go there. So if your eyes meets with your dad, that means, and you are tiptoeing, he knows you are tiptoeing outside. That means he doesn't want you to go. So you should go back, just like I said.
Okay. Now, if there is a rule in your house like that, and you want to go against the rule, the man has seen you, he didn't want to say anything, but you press on, you wanted to leave the house. Then maybe by the time you come back, a lot of things will be happening to you. So we use the eye to communicate, the eye contact and all that, silence. There are people who sit at one place like this, and they will be looking at you. You do a lot of things, they don't mind you. Some of those people could be dangerous. I have a story, you may have heard it before. I don't know how to call it a myth, that one day Mother Hawk sent her children to go and collect mother ducklings. So Hawk's children went to collect the ducklings. So when they went back to the top of the silk cotton tree, their mother asked them, so when you took the ducklings, how did your mother behave? They said, well, you didn't say anything. He said, he didn't say anything. He said, no. See, the way that he didn't say anything is not good. Return the ducklings, because it's possible that he has a plan against us. So go and collect chickens. Go and collect chickens. So they went, then they dropped the ducklings and collected chickens. Then they went back to the top of the cotton tree. And their mother said, how did Mother Hen behave? He said, no, he was jumping. She was cursing as she was doing this. He said, oh, that's all that she could do. That is all she could do. That is why I think that for people who don't speak, people who don't like to talk, you don't know what they have, you don't know what plans they have and what they could do. That is why in most situations, people fear you if you don't want to talk. In some situations, have you any kind of experience like that before? Hello? Hello? Are you there?
Yes, doc.
Now,
Hello.
I'm asking whether you have any kind of experience like that before.
yes,
No.
doc. Because you can't predict their next move, and
Yes.
sometimes it's a burden on you, who maybe you the doer of the action, whatever you have done to the person. It's always a burden on you. You don't know what the person, he has not said anything.
Yes.
So you go, but you'll be thinking about it all day.
Yes.
So I think it's a dangerous kind of thing, because you don't know what the person, even if the person decides that you will not do anything to you, but you yourself, you will not be of yourself.
Yeah, you're not comfortable. It's like one day a lady was saying that she traveled and when she came back, she met her husband with another woman on their bed. And when she saw them, she did not see anything. But apparently the man saw her. So she just placed her luggage in the room and then she went out. She did not see anything. Now this man was uncomfortable. The man went out of the room to go and look for the woman who was trying to beg, was trying to explain. But the woman was not asking any question. The person was not asking any question. You wanted to explain something. The person didn't ask you to explain something. You see the guilt there. Now, but I'm not saying you should do that kind of thing. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
No, we can hear
Yes, we
you.
can hear you.
Hi.
Hi.
My network is not stable. There are, you see, you should practice silence. What I'm trying to say is not always that you need to talk. It's not always that you need to be speaking.
Silence means consent.
Not always like that. See, there are people we meet today. Within 5 minutes, they tell everything about themselves. It's not good. They tell you everything about themselves, so they to the extent that the person who is even a stranger who has met you has known about half of the information about you. It's not good. If you are with a person progressively, you get to know each other. But not that you meet a person today, maybe in a vehicle or any place at a bank, or then you begin to talk. No. Shall we continue, please? Silence. So now we have a diagram here showing the communication process. Sender, information, receiver, feedback, then the cycle starts again. So that is the diagram the person has put here to illustrate communication as a process. Now, there's one question I want to ask you guys. Why do we say communication is a process?
Because it involves a lot of factors.
Is it because of the number of factors? Is it because of the number of factors?
Sir, please, the question again.
Why do we say communication is a process?
Okay.
It passes through
it's a process
several
because
channels.
I couldn't hear anything. I think two people were speaking at the same time.
It's a process because it is mostly continuous. It doesn't end.
Okay. It doesn't end.
It doesn't end immediately. Yeah, it doesn't end immediately. It is continuous. It may take a longer time for it to be completed.
Are you sure? So when I see you, I say, how are you? Say fine. Then you just go, everybody goes their own way. Is done? Yes, what do you think? Why do you think we say we describe communication as a process? You have any
I think
it passes through.
Hello?
Hi.
Please, Doc, I think there is a step, or there are steps to follow to send a message to the sender or something, to the receiver. Yes. There are steps.
There are steps.
Yes, please.
There are stages. Like communication goes through stages, and if you can observe carefully, these factors that we talk about now, the elements, if one is missing, communication cannot be complete. For example, if there is no sender, how can we even initiate a conversation in the first place? Communication cannot even start. If there's no receiver, then you got so the components are all important to the extent that if one is missing, it disrupts the communication process, the link. So communication is a process because it goes through stages and every stage is important. Shall we continue?
Yes, please.
Language skills used in communication. This one, because I will send a file to you, so you can read at home. Let me just explain to you. When we talk about the 4 language skills, which are they? When you are talking about communication, we talk about language skills. These language skills, every human being is supposed to exhibit it. Everybody is supposed to use them. What are they?
Dog, listening, hearing.
Hearing.
Speaking.
Okay.
Also reading.
Listening.
Okay. Listening and
writing.
Writing. Listening and hearing. What's the difference between listening and hearing?
Dog, with listening, you pay rapt attention, you are attentive. But with hearing, you can just hear the thing and that's all.
Okay. Now, these skills that we're talking about now, which of them develops first?
The
Please
hearing
listen.
development.
Pardon me?
Hearing.
Hearing development first.
Speaking.
Okay, I think you should be listening, not hearing. Listening is to pay attention to get sounds. Pay attention to sounds to be able to get meaning. So what we actually do is listening. Listening. Okay, then which develops next? When a child is born. Speaking. Okay. Which develops last?
Writing.
Okay, it's all right. This one. Okay, so let's read the summary.
Congratulations. We have come to the end of section 3. Let us take note of the important points. 1. Communication is the process that involves the sender giving out information through a medium to a receiver, and the receiver provides feedback. 2. We get information by listening, reading, observation, and analysis. 3. Feedback serves as a means of evaluating the communication process. 4. The language skills used in communication are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. 5. The language skills can be categorized as primary or secondary or receptive and productive.
Okay, that one is there, but we didn't read it. It is now 1:30. All right, 1:23. Shall we take a break?
Dog, is 2:23.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, understand the class will run up to 4 p.m. All right. Hello.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Hi,
Yes,
Doc. Yes, let's break.
we can continue so that we close earlier.
Well, let's have some 10 minutes.
No, Doc, please, let's have a break.
Like 10 minutes.
Some of us don't have light.
You don't have light. What does it mean?
You
don't have light. Okay, let's just have 10 minutes break. Let me
Let's
just
continue close early.
I want to go eat something.
Oh, okay, please sir. Go and eat and come.
So maybe those who also want to eat, If you just 10 minutes now, 2:23 by 2:33 or 35, we are back. Now, when I just can, we continue. I'm not going to wait for anybody.
Okay.
This form of communication is known as verbal communication. The other form of communication is non-verbal communication. We can say there are two main forms of communication, verbal and non-verbal communication. We can add a third form of communication, visual communication, as a form of non-verbal communication.
Okay.
Verbal communication.
Okay, you go read. It's all right, you read.
Verbal communication. Verbal communication is the use of words, language to communicate. This takes the form of oral spoken communication and written communication. Example of oral communication in the academic environment are lectures, classroom discussions, class presentations, academic presentations at seminars and conference.
So verbal communication is basically oral and written. Oral and written. There are some researchers who add sign language as the form of verbal, but most of them will not add it anyway. But I think that I have seen at least one or two researchers claiming that, or they argue that sign language is a form of verbal communication. Maybe the reason they are saying this is whatever sign you are making has a meaning. So somebody you can show the sign, you can do the sign to somebody for the person to understand what you are saying. If you say move away, he knows. If you say go, you say come. But basically, verbal is what? Written and oral. And that is the use of words or language. Non-verbal is the use of new words. Let's continue.
Non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication. Some examples of written communication in the academic environment are information on notice boards, notes, memos, directives, letters, and all forms of academic writings. Non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is the form of communication that does not involve the use of words or language. Non-verbal communication takes place in various forms. Mention some of the forms of non-verbal communication. Let us classify non-verbal communication by identifying some non-verbal elements and how and what they communicate. Based on this classification, we can put non-verbal communication into the following categories.
Okay, so non-verbal communications, communication, you have kinesis.
Gestures and the movement.
Continue. Right.
This refers to how and the movement of our body to communicate. State what the following gestures communicate when used during interactions.
Okay, so handshake, so shaking heads, what could it mean?
Tactile. Shaking
It's
heads.
tactile.
Okay, thank you.
Masculine, I say shaking head, what could it mean?
Nodding, frowning, smiling.
I'm asking you guys a question. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm asking you, shaking the head. When you're talking with somebody, the person is shaking the head. What could it mean?
Could mean disapproval or no.
Okay. What about nodding?
It means to indicate
Approval or
Yeah.
yes.
Agreement. Okay.
Frowning.
agreement,
Frowning.
Disapproval.
Or
confusion,
anger.
Smiling.
Approval.
Smiling. What
approval,
does it mean to say to beckon somebody? What does it mean?
You tell the person to come.
Okay. It's a movement of the hand, like you make your hand, you raise your hand, and then maybe you fold the fingers inward, as it away to tell the person he should come. So that even if you don't speak, by doing that sign, the person knows that you beckon him to come to you. Let's continue, please.
The key non-verbal element that is used in haptics communication is touch. Haptics is a non-verbal communication. It simply means how we use touch to communicate. The part of the body that is touched and how it is touched communicates some meaning between the interlocutors. Indicate what the following examples of interlocutors. Thank you. Indicate what the interlocutors.
Yes.
Indicate what the following examples of haptics communication mean. Handshake, rubbing the back, a pat on the shoulder, back slapping, high five.
The handshake, what could it mean? In communication, handshake, what could it mean?
Well done.
Agree.
Okay.
Or agreement.
Okay. Or it's a deal. It's still a deal, or
Sometimes it's also used for a form of greeting.
used for
Greeting,
written.
as in when you meet your friend.
I know people do this. They shake your hand, then they use the finger to tickle the palm of the center of the palm. What does it mean?
I love
Eh,
It's a lot of things.
you.
because
When the person doesn't want to say it verbally.
okay. I was teaching this at Hohwe SPH to my regular student. Somebody said, if a person does that for you, it means the person want to enter you.
Yes.
Are you
It
a dog?
means that one too.
Okay.
Enter you asking how?
I don't know.
Have sex
I don't know.
with you.
Is it spiritual or physical?
So have you
I didn't ask.
or you have become a dog?
I didn't ask.
A container.
You say the person wanted to enter you. I don't know what it means. Maybe the person is saying something indirectly. Okay, shall we continue? Rubbing the back, what could it be?
It could mean the person is giving you assurance.
Comfort.
Consoling.
Consoling. A pat on the shoulder.
Well done.
Back slapping. Back slapping.
To awake you. Awakening.
What about you? The person is not sleeping.
They are killing a fly behind you.
What about high five?
High five could mean
Well
maybe
done.
we made it. Or
Okay.
well done,
Well
yeah.
done.
Sometimes maybe
Good job.
you and someone discussed something or you spoke about something, then maybe it has come to pass or it has happened.
Okay.
For instance, when you are going to write an exam and you speak to a friend about paying attention to a particular topic or formula, and then you go into the exam hall and it is like it came
Okay.
after them not being in.
Okay. What about then we go to oculexis? Oculesics. Oculesics. Yes. Which one?
Oculexis.
Yeah.
This is how we use eye contact to communicate. Eye contact is very important in a face-to-face interaction. Avoidance of eye contact by looking away during an interaction does not show respect.
Okay.
On the other hand, if you fix your eye on a person by looking directly into the person's eyes, this may also communicate disrespect. Eye contact can be used to communicate different messages depending on the nature and the manner of the contact, as well as the context of the communication. Objectives. Do you know that?
Do you want to say something about eye contact and communication?
Yes, Doc. Sometimes you look into somebody's eyes to know the truth. You can get to know the truth by looking into people's eyes.
Okay.
If they are lying or they are telling the truth.
Okay. Can
It's
somebody
a typical way of African parents' communication.
look
For
into your
instance,
face?
you visit.
Talk. You continue.
For instance, you went somewhere with your parents, and then the people are eating.
And what happened?
They say, come and eat.
Mm.
And your mother gives you an eye. She
Mm.
doesn't say anything, but the eye may mean if you don't know and you try it.
They will punish
So,
you. Okay.
yeah, there will be a punishment afterwards. Yeah.
Is it possible for somebody to look at your face to tell you that he or she loves you?
Yes.
How does it happen?
When a person does, there are gestures. He or she lifts either one of the eyelid.
Okay.
To suggest or to communicate that this is what I'm trying to say.
It could be a wink. The person can give you a wink.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, let's continue.
Objectives. Do you know that the things that we clothe ourselves with communicate? Yes, the way you dress communicates something about you and without you uttering a word. The cars we drive, the perfumes we wear, and the decor in our homes or offices communicate something about us. Consider the following and what they communicate. Rings of all kinds on your fingers or toes. Wearing of black
rings
cloth
of all kinds on fingers. What does it mean? How could it communicate to you when you see somebody wearing rings on all fingers or so?
The person is a
It means
fashion
so many things.
And what can
It means so many things depending on the finger on which the ring is.
If it's on, somebody places it on the last finger, what would it mean?
Lesbian.
Yes,
the last small finger, lesbian.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
On the right or on the left?
It's promise. Which one is less?
Hey.
No, the last
No, the
small
promise is
finger
middle.
is the middle finger. The last very
The
small one,
promise is
our
the middle
smallest
finger.
finger. It
No,
means here.
promise is somebody a pinky figure. Is someone is
I'm really learning.
Finger is what I tell you. When you wear it, there you are a lesbian.
Serious.
Google
Serious.
it, yo.
so
So there's not a
The
lesbian.
promise finger is the finger before the ring finger.
Okay.
The promise finger is the finger before the ring finger.
Now, what the person is saying is the person wears all kinds of rings of all kinds of fingers or toes.
Dog.
So
Yeah.
that's
Of
what I
course.
said earlier, that it could mean so many things. So like our sister said, the smallest finger could mean a lesbian. The ring finger, meaning you are engaged or married to someone. The middle finger, somebody has promised you. So like you are not available for any other person.
Okay.
But I'm not too sure about the thumb and then the first finger.
Okay.
And the
Well,
The
thumb,
thumbs
some
means
people are
what?
in the occultic, they wear it on the thumb, or those kind of the gay people.
The thumbs too
Oh,
can mean the right
The
thumbs
the
can mean the wolf. Worldly people also use the thumb, the left thumb.
yeah.
Dog.
But yes.
Can also wear it
Please,
for
it
fun.
could also mean that the person is a drug addict or a manic patient.
Okay. Yo, wearing of black cloth, what could it mean?
morning.
dog morning. But dog, please, I have a question. With this one saying, I'm sure it depends on the continent where you are wearing it. Because in Europe, wearing those things doesn't really communicate anything. Even some people use black for
Okay. Yes. Okay. That's true.
your geographical locations also count.
Okay. I don't even want to with tattoos. Oh, tattoos. 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 What could it mean?
Tattoos.
Yes.
Billboard. It means you are a billboard.
No.
No, tattoo.
Tattoo, you can tattoo yourself for memory. I can tattoo my mother on my body, and it's for me and my mother. It's a connection between me and my.
No, but if you go to like young
Oh,
guys,
okay.
you see most people who are boxers or wrestlers, they do that extensively on their body to the extent that so that you don't even see the body. What could it mean? Okay, if you don't know it, let's skip it. Dressing in suit.
Anyway.
Dressing in suit.
Official.
They are going to the office. Official.
Okay, wearing big and multiple earrings.
It's fashion.
Fashion.
Okay. Somebody told me that it's possible for a woman to wear a ring to signal that his husband is dead or something, or his husband is living far away. Is it possible for you to do that?
Hey, this one, yeah.
Doc,
No.
please, I don't know about the earrings, but I know about the anklet.
Okay.
I understand the anklet, depending on the foot on which it is, it
Okay.
means the person is engaged.
It's engaged.
That is in India.
Okay.
That's what they use as their marriage rings. On the toe, they wear the marriage ring on the toe and then the anklets.
Okay. Yo, wearing slit and kaba to a function.
You are a mother
Modesty.
or grandma.
Modesty.
Is it only
Mother or
Modesty.
grandma.
Oh, how can you say
Modesty.
that?
Modesty. It makes you modest. That's all.
Okay, yo. Let's continue, please.
So what's that word?
Proxemics.
Proxemics. This is how distance or space between two people engage in communication convey additional meaning to the interaction. Every human being has a place surrounding the person. Every human being has the space surrounding the person as the person's private space. As a result of this, we do not get close to people. We always maintain some distance when we are standing close to people. It is an offense to violate a person's private space. When two communicators are sitting or standing too close to each other, it may communicate intimacy. On the other hand, when a younger person stands far away from an elderly person and throws words at the elderly person, that communicates disrespect.
Okay. You want to add something to proxemics? Say those who are close, it shows intimacy. Everybody needs a social distancing in communication or your social interaction. But I think those who are lovers, they are very close. They exchange fluids. You understand what I mean? They kiss and they do any kind of thing. Shall we continue?
Chronemics.
Chronemics, yes.
Chronemics refers to how time communicates. There is a time that is appropriate to call somebody on phone and an inappropriate time. How punctual you are to functions and meetings communicates something about you. How time communicates is referred to as chronemics.
Okay.
Vocalics. We make certain sounds that communicate messages. For example, clearing of the throat, coughing, yawning, laughing, and weeping are all sounds that we make. The use of these sounds to communicate is known as vocalics. Vocalics may be non-words but are meaning embedded. How have you ever used these words in communication? Oh, ah, wow. Visual communication. We can consider visual communication as a form of non-verbal communication. This refers to using images and pictures to communicate. Drawings and cartoons are examples of visual communication. Posters and banners are partly visual communication.
Why do you think banners are considered partly visual? Why do you think the text is indicating that posters and banners are partly visual communication?
There's a text on them as well as there's a picture image.
Okay. Let's continue.
Types of communication.
Yeah.
We can classify communication in the academic environment into the following: intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, public communication, mass communication. Intrapersonal communication. It is that type of communication that takes place within an individual. Do you communicate within yourself? Do you remember that we said one of the means of receiving information is through observation? You can observe a change in the weather and get to know that it is about to rain. And if you have things on the lines, you would go and remove them. This is intrapersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is the type of communication that goes on between two or more people. Communication between you and your friend is intrapersonal communication.
I think there's a mistake there.
Small group of...
Hello. I think there's a mistake there.
It's a...
Inter.
Okay. Okay. Communication between you and...
It is not. I think there's a typing mistake here. So it should be inter.
Inter. Okay.
Inter.
Communication between you and your friend is interpersonal communication. A small group of people, about 5 or 7 in a group discussion, also constitutes interpersonal communication. Oh, somebody else. Interpersonal communication is often a two-way communication, which means there is a feedback from the receiver to the sender. Public communication is the type of communication that involves a large number of people. There is usually one speaker addressing a group of people in a face-to-face interaction. Can you give example of public communication? Public communication is largely a one-way communication because there is no feedback from the members of the group being addressed. It becomes a two-way communication when there is feedback from the audience. Have you ever attended the meeting of any association or group that you belong to in the school? This is an example of public communication. Mass communication is the type of communication that takes place over the airwaves from a single source to a large number of unseen audience. Examples of mass communication are radio broadcasts, television news, or online information. In the university environment, mass communication is used to pass on information, pieces of announcements, and lectures to students on the university radio or television stations. Mass communication is largely a one-way. Mass communication is largely a one-way communication because in most cases there are no feedbacks. Mass communication becomes a two-way communication when there is a feedback through different modes, including text messages, calls, or WhatsApp messages. Summary. In this section, we have learned that verbal communication involves the use of words. Non-verbal communication does not involve the use of words. Non-verbal communication takes the forms of gestures, kinetics, touch, haptics, eye contact, oculexis, clothing, objectics, distance, proxemics, time, chronemics, and human sound, vocalics. The types of communication are intrapersonal, interpersonal, public, and mass communication.
What's the basic difference between mass and public communication from the reading?
Public is face to face, while mass is not face to face.
Okay. Is it always the case that is it? So, for example, what you are doing right now, like this Zoom class, is it mass or public?
Mass.
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 Yes, it's mass.
Public.
Now, see,
Mass.
when they say the thing is public, it means anybody at all can be there. Let's say if you're in a law court now and there's a court proceeding, as a Ghanaian, so that they don't even know if you are having a Togolese or a Nigerian who has come, and you just enter the court, bow. There's something, a sign you will do, you bow, and then you enter, you sit down to listen. So to me, public means that the thing is open. Now, this is our meeting. A lecturer is sending you a link to attend a meeting. No, it is only those. There's only those are you plus me who is here now. So that no one else can come in. So are you sure it's public? Is it purely public? Now, let's think about it this way. Mass communication basically is about the use of airwaves. So maybe TV news, radio news, somebody in Accra is broadcasting, they will listen. Yeah. Even if you are in Togo or Nigeria and you can receive radio news from Ghana or TV news, or like if you're in Ghana, sometimes we can tune some radio, we begin to hear things about federal state in Nigeria, this and this, especially during the Harmattan season. Those of us who are close to the border. So that if you say mass, there's no restriction as in those who can benefit or not. Think about it. Do you have something to say about this?
So, Doc, we can say that in the mass communication, they use like gadgets like television broadcast, but in public communication, we don't use that one. Is that what you want to say, please?
Okay. Now, is it possible to be communicating or to be sending out information as public and at the same time as mass?
Yes, sir, it's possible.
How and in what context?
So,
So
sir,
what's
for example, sometimes when there is a conference that you want to broadcast on a television,
And so I'm saying, is it possible to do public and mass at the same time?
yes, sir, and I said yes, it's possible.
You have not explained fully. If you say you want to send information on TV or radio, what about the public aspect? Because you say public is supposed to be one to many in a face-to-face interaction. That's what somebody said earlier. So I'm saying, if it is true, granted that that's the case, how do we put the public and the mass in the same context at the same time?
And so I
So,
was
Doc,
giving
let's
an example. For example, if let's say students are having graduation at
Okay.
UHAS,
Yes.
then UHAS wants to broadcast it on a television
Okay.
for the general public.
Okay.
So in this case, we are using both public and mass communication.
Okay. Yes. Yes. I think that is an example. That's an example. Apart from that, there are cases where you have conferences, people sit in face to face. Then there is a link for people who are outside the university community to also at which they can join and benefit. So it's possible to run both public and mass at the same time. Okay. Let's take the last and then we close. The last thing, like barriers to communication. barrier to effective communication. That's going to be about 10 minutes. Then we will close. But I want to give you a small 20 questions as a just questions you can try your hands at. Let's read this one.
Barriers to communication. In communication, anything that seems to hinder or prevent information from being sent or received is a barrier to effective communication. Let us consider some of these things that can be considered as barriers to effective communication. In the academic environment, we can consider the following as barriers to effective communication. Physical barriers, language or linguistic barriers, transmission barriers, psychological barriers, cultural barriers, physiological barriers. Now, physical barriers. In a face-to-face communication, certain things present in the environment are likely to be barriers to effective communication. Take the classroom as an example. Can you mention the things that may hinder information from being received by students? Yes, of course. Noise, inadequate lighting, poor ventilation, and distance are examples of physical barriers that tend to hinder effective communication. When there is noise in the classroom, learners may not hear what the instructor is saying clearly. When the classroom is not well illuminated, learners may not be able to see what the teacher or lecturer writes on the board. If the classroom does not have adequate windows or air conditioners to allow the circulation of fresh air in the classroom, it may cause restlessness, leading to learners not paying attention to the instructor. As the instructor, if you stand far away from your learners, some of them may not hear you clearly. Activity. Suggest solutions to the following physical barriers to effective communication. Noise, poor lighting,
Lighting.
transmission.
Let's go to
Transmission barriers. This refers to any interference in the medium that is used to convey information. Apart from face-to-face interaction, the transmission of information is carried out through other media or channels, such as phone calls and sending message by various electronic means, such as emails, telegrams, WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook, etc. Any breakdown or hindrance in the network or internet connectivity is a transmission barrier. For example, the absence of internet bundle when accessing a virtual class or a learning management system, LMS, such as Moodle, vClass, or Sakai. Language or linguistic barrier. When the sender and the receiver do not share the same language, this becomes a barrier to effective communication. If the language of the sender is not familiar to the receiver, that is a language barrier. Apart from this, there are several other things that become language barriers in situations where the communicators share the same language. What are some of these things? The wrong choice of words, misplaced modifications and mispronunciations of words are things that happen in the process of communication and constitute language barriers. We therefore have to be very mindful of our choice of words and the way we construct our sentence to ensure that we convey the exact message that we wish to communicate. We shall discuss some of these language barriers in Unit 5. Psychological barriers. This refers to the state of mind of the individual at the time of communication. Both the learner and the receiver's mood is important for successful communication to take place. At the time of communication, are the communicators happy, angry, or sad? The emotional state of a learner is likely to affect the success of communication. It is therefore important to create the right psychological atmosphere in the classroom. When learners are in the right mood, they are likely to receive the information delivered by the instructor well and making meaning of the information received. How can instructors ensure that learners are in high psychological frame to actively participate in their class? Cultural barriers. Differences in the cultural background and upbringing of people from diverse places and ethnic groups and races most of the times becomes barriers when people from different backgrounds come together in the academic environment. Something that is considered normal in one culture may be considered offensive in another culture. Certain jokes and questions that may be permitted in one culture may be offensive to an individual from a different cultural group. For example, a Ghan from Accra, Ghanaian may say something that may be meant as a joke, but some people from other cultural backgrounds may find it offensive. Can you think of any? We therefore have to be cautious in our use of jokes, utterances, and non-verbal forms of communication, as these forms of communication may vary from one culture to another. Mention 3 things that we can do to collapse cultural barriers during an interactions in the academic discourse community. Physiological barriers. In our discussion of physical barriers to communication, we mention things such as noise and distance. There is a direct relationship between these physical barriers and physiological barriers. Example, if the receiver has visual problems, he or she may not be able to see properly. Condition may have a direct relationship with the level of lighting provided in the classroom to enable him or her to overcome the barrier. Individuals may need adequate lighting in the classroom to enable them see what is on the board properly or to be able to read. Will require by the instructor. In addition, an instructor would have to be at an appreciable distance, which is close enough to the receiver, so the receiver can hear the instructor without obstructions. Summary. Wow, we have come to the end of Unit 1. In this last session, we learned that barriers to effective communications are the things that hinder the sending and the receiving of information. Physical barriers are conditions in the environment that obstruct information from being received. Wrong choice of words, misplaced modification, and mispronunciation of words constitute language barriers in communication. We can solve psychological barriers by making sure that learners are in their right emotional state during communication.
Okay, very good. I've posted a PDF file. This very document, I've sent it to the course prefect already. And I think that she will share with you. But I want us to do a short quiz, then we close. Just look at some sample questions, which are based on the communication topic that we just treated. So what you are going to do is you read through the questions, and then as you're reading through, you will select in your answers. We will go as far as to question 20. Then we'll come back. So when we come back, then we will now be announcing the answers. So read for us. You
Question
cannot, at the first reading, you can select your answers.
Okay. The Latin word communis, from which the term communication is derived, primarily suggests that communication is a process of, select your answers.
No, you read it. You read it.
Persuasion, transmitting information electronically, creating shared understanding, exchanging written documents. Two, which of the following best captures the essence of communication as presented in the text? A transfer of information from a superior to a subordinate. The transmission and exchange of ideas, feelings, and information resulting in mutual understanding. C, the use of language to persuade an audience. D, the dissemination of facts through written documents. Question 3. A lecturer carefully chooses simple languages when explaining a difficult concept to first-year students. This illustrates the communication process known as A, feedback, B, decoding, C, encoding, D, transmission. Question 4. A message has been accurately transmitted but interpreted differently from what the sender intended. Which stage of the communication process is most likely responsible? A, message formulation, B, encoding, C, decoding, D, feedback. Question 5. Feedback is considered indispensable in communication because it A, enables the sender to encode the message, B, confirms whether the receiver has interpreted the message as intended, C, determines the communication channel, D, replaces the need for decoding. Question 6. Which of the following situations best demonstrate effective oral communication? A, a departmental report circulating through email. B, a supervisor giving immediate clarification during a staff meeting. C, minutes of a committee meeting. D, a policy document distributed to employees. Question 7. One limitation of oral communication is that A, cannot convey emotions, B,
lacks flexibility. C, may fail to provide permanent documentary evidence. D, prevents immediate feedback. Question 8. A university administrator sends examination regulations to students through email so that they can be referred throughout the semester. This method is preferred primarily because written communication, A, encourage immediate discussion, B, provide a permanent record, C, eliminate misunderstanding completely, D, is less formal than oral communication. Question 9. Which communication skills requires the integration of written information with existing knowledge in order to achieve comprehension? A, listening, B, speaking, C, reading, D, writing. Question 10. A manager's ability to pay close attention to employees before making organizational decisions illustrates the importance of A, persuasive speaking, B, active listening, C, effective writing, D, public presentation. Question 11. A speaker deliberately adjusts tone, volume, and pitch to emphasize important points during a presentation. This aspect of nonverbal communication is known as A, kinesics, B, haptics, C, paralanguage, D, proxemics. Question 12. A teacher maintains approximately 3 meters between herself and students during a lecture. According to the text, this illustrates A, intimate distance, B, personal distance, C, social distance, D, public distance. Question 13. The study of body posture, facial expressions, and gestures as communicative behavior is referred to as A, chronemics, B, kinesics, C, haptics, D, paralanguages. Question 14. A company consistently responds late to clients' emails, thereby creating the impression of inefficiency. Which dimensions of nonverbal communication best explains this situation? A, kinetics, B, chronemics, C, proxemics, D, haptics. Question 15. Which statement best distinguishes formal communication from informal communication? A, formal communication occurs only in a written form. B, formal communication follows officially established procedures and channels. C, informal communication is always more accurate than formal communication. D, informal communications cannot exist within organizations. Question 16. An employee bypasses official reporting channels and shares confidential organizational information with colleagues during lunch. This communication is best described as upward communication, formal communication, informal communication, downward communication. Question 17. Which characteristics is common to both formal and informal communication? Both require written documentation. Both facilitate the exchange of information with organizations. Both follow official organizational structures. Both eliminate communication barriers. Question 18. The greatest strength of informal communication lies in its ability to A. Provide legally binding records. B. Ensures complete accuracy. C. Transmit information rapidly. D. Maintain official accountability. Question 19. Which of the following combinations correctly represents the 4 fundamental communication skills discussed in a text? Listening, reading, translating, speaking. B. Listening, speaking, reading, writing. C. Reading, writing, editing, speaking. D. Listening, interpreting, reading, and presenting. Question 20. Which statement best reflects an integrated and communication? A. Successful communication depends solely on the clarity of the sender. B. The receiver understands the message and provides feedback. C. Communication ends once the message. D. Effective communication requires only verbal language. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too. You did so well. Now, let's just sit down, then we close. I'm tired. Now, number one, the Latin word communis, from which the term communication is derived, primarily suggests that communication is a process of. What have you gotten? You have to announce your answers.
C.
1.
Number 1 is C.
Okay.
Creating shared understanding.
Okay, yes. Number 2.
Number 2 is B. The transmission and exchange of ideas.
B. That's correct. Number 3.
Number 3 is encoding.
Okay, that is C. Number 4.
Decoding.
Decoding, number 4.
Number 5.
Number 5 is B. Confirms whether the receiver has interpreted the message.
Number 6 is B. No.
It's B. Is B. A supervisor
following
giving
is
immediate
most
clarification during staff meeting.
Supervisor giving immediate clarification. Okay, according to the listen, 6 is B for boy.
Yeah,
6
it's B.
for boy. Number 7. Number 7.
B.
It's C.
C.
It's C.
Okay, C for cat. 7 is C. It may fail to provide permanent documentary. 8.
B.
Number 8, B.
B.
Number 9.
Nine is C.
It's C.
The following requires integration of written information. Number 9. 9 is C.
C.
Yes, C for cat.
cat.
C.
C.
D.
B.
B.
Number 10 is B for boy. Number 11.
B for cat.
Number 11 is C.
Number 11 is what?
It's C.
C.
Okay, now listen.
C.
Some of these things,
C for cat.
some of these things, you just have to do elimination. You say the person adjusts tone, volume, and pitch. But now kinesis has to do with body. Haptics have to do with what? Touch. Am I right?
Yeah.
Prosemics has to do with distance. So if you look at A, B, and D, they are all out. The answer should be C for cat.
Paralanguage.
Number 11 is C for cat. Number 12. 12.
12 is C.
C.
Number 12
Social distance.
C for cat. 13.
13 is B.
B for boy. 14.
B.
14 is B. B.
14.
B.
B for boy.
B.
Pron.
B for
14
boy.
is B.
B for boy.
Pronimics.
15.
15 also is B.
The statement
Formal communication follows officially established.
15 is B for boy. 15 is B for boy. Number 16.
16 is C. Informal communication.
Informal
Communication.
16 is C. C for cat.
Informal.
17.
B.
15 is B. B. B for Ben.
B.
Data
B for
and
dog.
the
Both
exchange of
eliminate
information
communication.
within organizations.
B.
Which number?
Number 17 is B. B. Boy.
B.
Benjamin Amebwe. B.
B.
Number 18
is C.
Ensure
Transmit
information rapidly.
C. C for cat.
19.
B.
B.
Listening, speaking, reading,
And
writing.
reading and writing. Yeah, B.
B.
Are you sure?
B for baby.
Yes, please.
19
Yeah.
is B.
B for baby.
B for bold.
20.
20 is B. Communication is complete
Only when
the receiver understands the message and provides the feedback.
Okay, very good. I'll post the
C.
I'll post the Zoom recorded version to you, so that if you want to look at these things, you can do so at your own time. Any questions?
Yes, Doc.
Yes.
Please, number 18. Go back there. Let's check something. Please, they said the answer is well.
What did we agree on?
Is C.
B. It should be B.
Yeah, it should be B.
Number 18. The greatest strength of informal communication lies in its ability to
transmit information rapidly.
Yes.
Is C.
Is C.
Yes.
Okay.
Informal.
C.
Informal, it means If you don't want to write it,
Yes, it shouldn't be complete. Yes.
it shouldn't be right. You don't want to write it, so maybe there is a policy and your supervisor or your comes to the facility to announce to you immediately. Rather than going to type that in and then they will not going to put it on a notice board for you, or they'll put it in your mail. It will take time. That is why they use the word rapidly.
Okay.
And so I think 18 should be 18 is C. It transmits information rapidly. Yes, it transmits it quickly, if you like.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you too. Yes. So if you don't have another question, then I will have to bring the class to a close. I've posted a PDF file to you, the book to you. You can read at home from page 12, page 18 to 32. And if you have any questions on communication, when we meet next time, you can raise them so that we discuss in class. Any questions? Okay, if there are no questions, then I wish you well.
Okay, Doc.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wish you same.